Hi there, welcome to your immediate post-match reaction with myself, Colin Armstrong. Eck, Rangers 1, Livingston 1. It's just getting a bit of a farce now. Eck, it's pretty grim. Team selection, formation, subs, everything. He's in a bad place.
Ultimately, it's performance, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Performance. Like, so we were just saying before, come on camera here, you were saying we don't really mind how poor the performances are if you keep getting the results. And up until today, we had a 100% home record domestically this season. We're now into territory where the results are starting to match the performance, and we got the kind of bare minimum in the second half today. You know,
Second half was a wee bit better.
That's what I'm saying. We got the bare minimum. Then in the first half was dire. So that's when your problems have started. It seems like too little, too late. I was quite. Gio's reaction when we equalised, turning to the crowd, like, come on. It was really, you know, I want to talk about how Gio's not a very animated character, whatever the hell that means, you know, whatever the hell that's got to do with management. But at that point, I thought, well, that's quite a good bit of passion. Maybe he thinks there's a pattern here, a plan that's actually working, but the players didn't seem to carry that reaction themselves. The players didn't seem to share his enthusiasm for what was then happening in the remaining, well, I think at that point it was 7 minutes injury time against 10 men. We'd even gone 4-4-2. Maybe that's the first sign that something seriously rang when we start playing 4-4-2. We did get Cholak and Morelos on. We actually had Kamar Roof on as well. We'd all our top strikers on by the end of the game, and it just we equalised. We weren't defeated, but it feels like a massive defeat.
I mean, as I said, we were discussing this before we came on air. You know, we bumped into David Fraser, and you know, how long has Gio got? And we were saying last night on the preview show that, you know, I'm not convinced he's near getting the sack, because performances are awful, but results have actually been, outside the Champions League, obviously the results have actually been pretty okay. But it's becoming hard to defend him now, because I mean, it's even like when I saw the team today, one thing that was irritating me, that the whole first half, I was like, why is Scott Arfield in the right wing? He's got no pace, you know, he's offering nothing, and you know, there's people out there that don't rate Scott Arfield as it is. I quite like him. I think he's a good player. I think he offers a lot, but he's a central player, isn't he? You know, if I was going to play Scott Arfield, I'd play him maybe a number 10. You know, linking the sort of midfield to your front three kind of thing. But out in the right, so like I text my mate at half time, I was like, I'll get Davis off, I'd get Arfield in the middle, and I'd get Scott Wright or Sakala on. You know, and he goes with Matondo. I know. And you know, and then he ends up bringing him off because he was so shit. I know.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it was during the whole VAR kerfuffle when we get when Livingston's the guy had fouled Morelos, you know, got a yellow for it, and then he got upgraded to a red. So I'm kind of watching the carry on with that, and I'm thinking, when did Fashion Sakala come on? When play resumed. Matondo got off. I just assumed he'd been injured. No, you know what I mean? But it was like,
to me, like he was hooked.
He was. I mean, nothing was going his way. Let's put it that way, you know. But it's a bit like, for me, it's like you're talking to Scott Arfield. You know, Scott Arfield's going to be trying his best. You know, it's because of where he's been put. You know, Scott Arfield will not let you down. You know, he's always going to give you his best. But he's not got the capability.
He's not got the tools.
When he's played out wide right. What was it? It looked like a 4-1, maybe 4-1 almost when we started. Are we trying to play with it? Tillman just seemed to be sitting just inside Ryan Kent for the whole first half, without ever moving anywhere. And Borna Barisic is getting barracked by the crowd for constantly checking back.
I thought he played well.
I thought he did alright. It's become a theme because he's got nobody to hit the
There's no forward pass on for him, so he has to come back. So he's got to retain possession. And look, don't get me wrong, there are times he does it when I think he doesn't need to. But he has become a bit of a scapegoat, and I do think he's one of our better players this season.
And you're looking at Ryan Kent, he works with first and foremost. So again, it's an ongoing question about Ryan Kent's commitment. You know,
he done okay, especially saying half.
And it's second half he did do okay. You know, but I think what I'm trying to say is the people who are maybe saying, "Oh, Borna Barisic, they're barracking Borna Barisic because he's not getting it forward." We know that's not how it works all the time. If you want, you check back to go forward better. You know, you're supposed to be guarding the back door as well. But that time we're already a goal down. But I think maybe the people who are seeing it like that, or maybe the kind of people who are building up this fellow Rangers fans I'm talking about, I don't mean this disrespectfully, who are building up the narrative that because it's been awful to watch under Gio for the past 2 or 3 games, then he has to go because they were dropping points. You know, and I think there's a big difference between whether Gio should go or whether there's just, it's getting to the point where it almost doesn't matter. because the crowd's getting so bad, you know, that if he can't pull the result out, you know, if he can't pull the performance out, then the crowd's going to fall away and everyone's going to 40 pieces. It just seems really, it's really, I'm at a bit, it's kind of cognitive dissonance with me, mate. I'm at a stage where I'm thinking, that's the guy who's got us to a Europa League final. That's the guy who goes into the Champions League, you know, which was a massive thing for us for the last 10 years to be back in the Champions League. But it's like,
even if it's not been that enjoyable,
like everything else, we don't get to enjoy it. It just like there's a crisis following it straight away. And the last, we get beat 7-1 after Liverpool, which is, I know better teams than us lose by bigger margins than that in the Champions League group stages. That was what I think that was possibly going to happen to us. But the way it happened and the kind of non-reaction since then is what really concerns me. Gio's lost, 4 games now? He's lost 4 halves of football, 3-0, and then another one 6-0. You know, in less than a year. And it's like, if we're going to have a really humiliatingly bad defeat every now and then, that has to be counterbalanced by playing well. If you've got a bad performance, win by 1 goal and it's dour. But when you don't win, there's nothing to cling on to. You know, when sticking up for them.
In terms of you've said the word reaction there. I mean, you know, Livy got the early goal. Joe, what's his name? Joe Nubla.
Yeah, the big guy up front.
He scored against us the first game of the season.
Poor goal.
Nay, again, like we go that early goal down, absolutely zero reaction.
That's it. That's
you know, that whole 45 minutes. You know, I've never seen a team. Again, speaking to David before we came on air, you know, the three of us chat. That sort of made the point that I've never seen a team control possession so much without doing fucking anything with it. Just keeping the ball, just literally keeping the ball without doing anything.
And that's what I'm saying. We're talking about the second half being better, but it'd be difficult for it not to be. And for most of the second half, it was get the ball down the wing, get it crossed in against a defence which will eat that up all day. A defence. David Martin must be praying for us to do that today. Just lots of high balls in for the wing. They've got a massively physical defence, and then they augment it. When the big guy fell for, he comes back for set pieces. The one thing you don't want to do is be putting high balls into them all the time, or we should be doing it with an intensity. And the only gem I've seen in the last few days was the one goal we scored against Dundee, where it looks really good, but the actual move was kind of like interrupted all the time. You know, Tillman was slipping the ball through Scott Wright. Defender kind of cuts it out with the ball on his own. Scott Wright keeps going. He has a shot. The keeper saves it, but Steve Davis is anticipating it being saved. And I don't know if it's just we're trying to outnumber teams and just kind of get, you know, if we pound them so hard, eventually we're going to get deflections. We're going to get, you know, the keeper dropping the ball or something like that. There doesn't seem to be any great science behind what we're doing. There's no artistry there. It's just get in, and if you don't have the enthusiasm, if the players aren't doing that enthusiastically, you know, if they're not doing it constantly, if they don't have the energy, it's just, you're going to get days like the day where you try to throw the kitchen sink at it in 7 minutes injury time, but it's far too late. It's done nothing for the previous 90 minutes.
In terms of, like, you know, body language of the players and all that kind of stuff, again, it really flat. It was almost like they continued the performance from Wednesday night against Dundee. But another thing I've noticed a few empty seats today. The crowd was really quiet, and like I pointed out to George Lucas behind the camera there, I could hear the players shouting to one another today. And that's the first time I've heard that in a while. So it feels like, sorry, George is telling us we need to move over.
You're talking about players positioning.
It just feels to me like the crowd they're losing belief. You know, obviously you've got the ones that want them to go. I think there's an element of the Rangers support. You know, the minute they drop a point, they're shouting at the manager, get them to fall.
That's it.
But it feels like it's now the majority. You know, there's just no belief in this guy, I don't think, and that's what it felt to me today, sitting in the stands. Very few people in that crowd had belief in the guy in the dugout.
I don't think you see a vision, Colin, and you have to give the injuries were suffered absolutely awful. You know what I mean? Especially Connor Golson's a massive injury, but it shouldn't be a case of Connor Golson goes off. We're drawing 1 each for Liverpool. When he doesn't play, we get beat 6-0 in the second half. After Liverpool, it shouldn't be, and that's unfair because Liverpool world-class players that they bring on and what have you. But I think there's a big element of that, and it's like I go back to the Golson thing last season. You know, in the after League Cup semi-final when he was calling us out, people thought it was terrible for him to say that. But I think he was kind of misunderstood. I think he was just trying to say, I don't want to offer any excuses. There's an attitude problem. Now, the attitude problem would, if it's there in the dressing room, it's going to spread to any new players that are arriving as well. You know, but I wouldn't want to say definitively that that's what it is, You know, because certainly you don't get to draw one each even with Livingston if you're not trying to some extent. You know, but there's definitely a kind of lacklustre feel about the team, looking at the players, and I'm sick of making excuses for it. I'm trying to say we're overreacting. The Borna Barisic thing for me is a classic example. People not really understanding what we're trying to do, you know, be a bit more patient. But I know it's more a case I'm not booing the team half at full time like today.
Yeah. I'm booed off at half time as well.
Booed off at half time as well. I'm not going to get any of that kind of nonsense because of what these guys have done for us and what Gio's done for us. You know, but I think you're getting to stage where I'm just going to get up and walk away. I'm not clapping them after the park either. You know, because it just doesn't look good enough. It's not just about signings being injured or whatever, like the class of team that playing against in the Champions League. There's definitely something there that looks to me like disaffection, like a lack of effort.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really poor. So, Napoli on Wednesday night. It doesn't get any easier, and then Aberdeen here. I mean, I was speaking to Craig on the preview show last night, and I was sort of arguing, you know, there's no many games to go until this World Cup comes. You know, just win every game. Get to that's the sort of landmark we need to get to. Get there, you know, stay within 2 points, and maybe even go. I mean, if Celtic nearly drop points today again against Hearts, you know, maybe even go level or go in front of them, all that kind of stuff. Right? Just do that. 4 or 5 games. Just do that. Just keep up. Get to that break. See how many players we can get back in from the injury list, and then try and go again. We can't even get past the first game. You know what I mean?
It looks like we've got more enthusiasm for that than the players have. Spot on, mate. And that's what worries me. Celtic definitely. Maybe won 4-0 at Tynecastle, so they're conceding all sorts of goals, and it's taking them longer. They're still winning. You know, can't argue with that. But the players aren't taking any stimulus. It's like they're not really interested. You know, and it's tough to be interested to a certain extent, but I watched the worst ever defeat, you know, and certainly in terms of, you know, goals scored against us against Liverpool the other week, and it was shattering. And I don't mind actually if that has a bit of a hangover for the players. They're a bit ashamed of themselves. They're a bit, you know, it's a shattered them as well. But it's gone beyond that. I mean, that's 3 games now, and we've been garbage in every one of them. You know, so there's definitely something going on. And we've got more. People have been complaining about how our squad's too big, so we've got more than enough players. You know, it's not all about injuries. You know, we've more than enough quality there that should be doing so much better than this. Only thing for me, I'm sorry to keep going on, but it's been a horrible day. Maybe this is his Gerrard moment. Gerrard, no, losing Hearts in the Scottish Cup, get beat home by Hamilton, and it's looking bad. If you're looking for a World Cup to save us away, maybe COVID saved things at that point for Steven Gerrard. But the problem is, you know, we've been, he's won us the Scottish Cup, we've been in the European final, and you're thinking, but I need to see signs that he's actually attempting a complete rebuild just now. And I don't see the shape, I don't see any emerging shape within, you know.
There doesn't seem, there's no style at all, there's no identity. And I think that's a concern.
Started well since before in a way, I think you said that earlier.
Aye, so, I mean, the clocks haven't even back yet, and it already feels like it's going to be a long season, so, aye, hallelujah. Anyway, so, I'll be back tomorrow night on the flagship show at 9:30 on the YouTube, so get on that. Aye, bit shit guys, but here we go. Until next time, bye for now.